my name is Matthew Dalitz and I'm the Editor-in-Chief of The Neuropsychotherapist. Welcome to another weekly video blog report. I'd just like to give you a friendly reminder once again that we have now launched the Neuropsychotherapy Institute, which is an online training platform that I've developed along with Dr. Peter Rosso. And there is a lot of material there for you to get into in terms of neuropsychotherapy. If you're interested in what is happening from a brain-based perspective in your psychotherapy, then this is the course for you. We have 13 core courses and we'll be adding more courses in the very near future. So please go and check that out. I'll just put the email address there just next to me. And appreciate your feedback as well if you have done some courses. Now we are going to cross down to Sydney, where we're going to find out what Richard Hill has been discovering this week. Thanks, Richard.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome from Richard Hill, the Mind Science Institute. Fascinating stuff for this week. There was something in May of this year. It was in July I took it down. And it's an interesting paper by a chap named Maurizio Meloni from the University of Nottingham in the UK. And he calls it the social brain meets the reactive genome, talking about neuroscience and epigenetics and what he calls the new social biology. And it's an article that's worth reading. You can get it, just download the PDF off the web, which is really great. The links are you'll see below. And what he does is he talks about epigenetics, again, talking about this, the nature of the way in which we change the expression and the future expression of the DNA by putting epigenetic and putting chemical markers on the DNA now in relation and response to the experience we're having. So whenever we're doing these changes, we're doing it in response to the experience now, in the preparation for how we can best respond to the likelihood of this experience reoccurring in the future. So we always, or not always, but there's lots and lots of things which prepare us in advance of experience, and I've written a few other articles and things on this. But I like what he goes through because he's actually from the School of Sociology and Social Policy. And so he goes through in this paper to discover a nice, interesting lot of things. Implications for social theory and how the nature of the way we are in response to our society has to take in the nature of our biology. And also, he also talks about the way we need to question biological theory and its relationship to social theory. He talks about post-genomic epistemology and how we molecularize nature. So if we are preparing ourselves molecularly in advance of experience, is that new preparation nurture or nature? Is the DNA, which we know is nature, and then the expression of it nurture, different things? And is epigenetics a part of the nature or a part of the nurture? Or is it the biological expression of the nurture? These are all very, very interesting things to think about and things that I've been mindful of for quite some time. And he says at the end here, in spite of my emphasis on some ambiguities of epigenetic research, the most important lesson for social scientists and theorists at this stage is possibly that the future, and therefore the social meaning of post-genomics and epigenetics, is not already written. We are still in its early days. We are still working our way through. So that's a wonderful paper for you to go and get. So what's coming up? Well, I don't think anything could be better than hearing from one of my I admire a great deal and is a friend now, Jeffrey Zeig from the Milton Erickson Foundation, and he's actually delivering an online talk with CSU, that's the Californian State University, and he'll be doing it on the evolving innate brilliance of the therapist. Now, it's next week. It's on August 15th. It's from 10 a.m. till noon. That's Pacific Daylight Time on the what are you guys? The West Coast in the USA. And in this lecture, it says here, Dr. Jeffrey Zeig will identify the creative patterns of Erickson and others and bring them to life through demonstration, experiential exercises, improvisation, and individual group activities. So there's a lot that we can participate watching online. He's obviously going to have an audience there as well. So there's the things to do. Let's keep looking at this epigenetics, this nature of changes in our DNA in response and preparation for future experience, in response to current experience and preparation for future experience. And have a listen to Jeff Zeig. He's just full of so much knowledge and experience. He's a wonderful, wonderful expert, and besides being a really fantastic bloke. So for now, from Richard Hill, what do I always say? Be wonderful, be creative, be connected, engage, and do wonderful things. Bye for now.
Thank you, Richard. And you'll find the links below this video on our website. Now, we always like to keep up to date with what's happening on Shrink Wrap Radio. So it's across to California, where we have Dr. Dave going to let us know who he's been interviewing this week on his podcast radio show. Thanks, Dr. Dave.
Hello, Matthew. It's Dr. Dave here once again to talk about my latest podcast interview, which is number 415, in which I speak with Dr. Marilyn Schlitz, who is the President Emeritus of IONS, or otherwise known as the Institute for Noetic Sciences, which is located in Petaluma, California. So as I say, she's President Emeritus. I think she was president of that institute for about 20 years, and she was also head of research for much of that time, and she is also continues as a senior fellow. She's also involved with the Pacifica Medical Institute in San Francisco, working on mind-body medicine. She is a fantastic person who has her hands in so many projects that is positively amazing. I should tell you a little bit about Noetic Sciences. That was founded by astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who was one of the first astronauts. And actually, my very first interview, before I even ever occurred to me that I would be doing shrink wrap radio or any kind of on-air interviewing, my first interview ever was with Edgar Mitchell. It was in 1974, and it was published in Human Behavior magazine, which unfortunately is no longer being published. But that kind of got my interviewing career going. And I remember clearly him telling me how transformative his experience was as an astronaut when he was in outer space and he looked back and saw the Earth, which was like a jewel, this blue jewel on a black velvet background. And he had a kind of transformative experience, a numinous spiritual experience, as he looked at the beauty and preciousness of the earth, and he thought of all the conflicts and all the little petty struggles that were going on way down there without everyone realizing how connected we are, how we are all sharing this precious jewel-like planet in the midst of this immense, dark seeming universe. And it was in that interview that he told me that he was founding something called the Institute for Noetic Sciences. And Marilyn explains that noetic refers to first-person knowing. And so at that point, the Institute was almost just a gleam in his eye, or maybe he had just started it. But it's been a very durable institution. It happens to be located not far from where I live in the hills of Petaluma, California. And they sponsor all sorts of fascinating programs and speakers and films. And they have worldwide membership. Well, getting back to Marilyn Schlitz, in her work there, initially she did a lot of work on parapsychology. trying to do it in as scientific a fashion as possible, and getting scientifically positive results, statistically significant results. And then her work has gone on to look into areas of consciousness, mind-body healing, consciousness and healing. And she has recently completed a film project with Deepak Chopra on death. Now, I haven't seen this film, not yet. I hope to see it at some point. So at any rate, it was a wonderful interview. She's just a very gifted, talented woman, and this is an interview not to be missed, if I do say so myself. So once again, this is Dr. Dave, and I'm talking about Shrink Wrap Radio number 415. So you all be sure to check it out. Back to you, Matthew.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dave. Well, that's all we have time for this week. Please do check out our website, our journal, our magazine, and our institute now. And love your feedback if you are doing any courses on the institute. We'd love to know how you went with that. So until next week, I'm Matthew Dalitz from the Neuropsychotherapist. Have a fantastic week. Bye-bye.